Samwell Tarly, firstborn son of Lord Randall Tarly and Melissa Florent, was raised in the family's ancestral home of Horn Hill in the Reach. A rigid and traditional man, Sam's father had been one of the greatest warriors and commanders in the Seven Kingdoms, responsible for Robert Baratheon's sole defeat at the Battle of Ashford during his mighty rebellion against the Targaryens. And so it was with great disappointment that, despite his best efforts, Sam was no warrior. His soft and passive nature, along with his lack of interest in physical exertion, caused the boy to grow overweight, unable to defend himself in any way. Perhaps Lord Tarly's greatest disappointment came during a trip to the Arbor, where a possible betrothal had been arranged for Sam. But his son was so bullied and humiliated by the other boys of the keep that he returned Sam to Horn Hill in shame. Yet, at last, Lord Tarly's dreams of a proper heir were realized when his second son, Dickon, was born and proved to be the warrior he had always wanted. With Sam's father distracted by his new child, the firstborn son of House Tarly was able to pursue his own passions like studying history and music, now able to devote himself entirely to his natural gifts. And while he enjoyed himself for a time, when Sam reached maturity, his freedom ended, with his father refusing to allow him to inherit the lordship of their family, threatening to murder Sam if he did not abandon his claim to House Tarly and join the Night's Watch. Sam then made his way to the Wall, where his physical deficiencies made him a target of scorn and bullying by both initiates and instructors, with Sir Alistair Thorne naming him Sir Piggy in mockery. However, Jon Snow, a fellow trainee and the bastard son of Lord Eddard Stark, took pity on him, becoming friends and even defending Sam against all who mistreated him. Recognizing his abilities as an intellectual, Jon even arranged for old Maester Aemon to take on Sam as a steward, so his true skills might serve the Watch. Sam became close to Jon, even abandoning the faith of the Seven to take his vows at the Heart Tree, honoring the old gods with his northern friend. Sam was then chosen to join the great ranging of Jeor Mormont, north of the Wall, where he was given charge of the communication ravens. On their way north, they camped with their wildling ally, Craster, a depraved man who married his daughters and sacrificed his infant sons to the others. There, Sam befriended Gilly, one of Craster's daughter wives, pregnant with a child she feared would be a boy and be killed in sacrifice. Yet, with Sam unable to help in any way, he was forced to leave with the Great Ranging, traveling to the Fist of the First Men, where they were attacked by the others and forced into retreat. Sam was able to release the Ravens before their defenses completely shattered, but was unable to keep pace with the Night's Watch survivors as they marched south. Sam's friend, Small Paul, stayed with him, helping as much as possible, but they soon became separated from the main group and were attacked by another. Sam's friend was quickly killed, but Sam was able to stab the creature with an obsidian dagger, destroying him and determining that they were vulnerable to dragonglass. This action earned Sam the nickname Sam the Slayer, though most of the Night's Watch used this name in derision, believing Sam had invented the story. When he arrived at Craster's Keep meeting up with the other survivors, the lack of food and harsh conditions caused a mutiny, with both Craster and Jeor Mormont killed in the fighting. Before the Lord Commander died, however, he spoke his final words to Sam, admitting that his greatest wish was for his son, Jorah Mormont, to regain his honor by joining the Night's Watch. Sam, seeing no hope in the situation, took Gilly and her newborn son, running away into the forest. As they journeyed south, they were attacked by Wights, the undead servants of the others. And while Sam attempted to use dragonglass against them, it proved ineffectual, finding that fire was the best way to kill them. However, they were soon outnumbered and were only saved by a mysterious creature known as Cold Hands, who rescued them and escorted them south. He then asked Sam to deliver a message to someone who he would find hiding in the abandoned night fort on the other side of the wall. To his surprise, he found the brother of his best friend, Bran Stark, and instructed the boy and his companions to find Cold Hands north of the wall, so he might lead them on their journey to the Three-Eyed Crow. Sam then took Gilly to Castle Black, where he used his strategic mind to politically maneuver the candidates for Lord Commander into voting for Jon Snow as a compromise candidate. Jon proved an able commander, sending Samwell, Maester Aemon, and Gilly to Old Town, where Sam might see to Gilly's safety and train as a maester. However, fearing the death of Mance Rayder's child, who Lady Melisandre wished to sacrifice to a red god, Jon Snow switched the children, causing Gilly to leave Castle Black with the son of the Wildling King, and her own child left behind at the Wall. For a time, Gilly suffered from a terrible depression, but after witnessing the death of Maester Aemon during the journey south, she recovered and became the romantic partner of Samwell Tarly. In Bravos, Sam's companion, Darion, who had been appointed a recruiter for the Watch, abandoned his duties, becoming a tavern bard. Sam labeled him a deserter and attacked the man, but was ultimately ejected from the building, taking an ailing Maester Aemon and Gilly aboard a ship called the Cinnamon Wind for the rest of their journey to Old Town. It would be during the second half of the journey that Maester Aemon would die, having shared with Sam his final thoughts concerning the stories being told of Daenerys Targaryen and her dragons, stating that since the word dragon was gender neutral, the prophecies may be describing Daenerys as the prince that was promised, and that were he not so old and ill, he might have gone to her as an advisor. After his death, Sam arrived in Old Town and sent Gilly and her child to Horn Hill, where they might find safety with his family, telling them that the boy was Sam's bastard son. Sam then made his way to the Citadel, where he began his training as a maester. There he met with Archmaester Marwyn, who asked that Sam recount Aemon's final words concerning Daenerys. When Marwyn learned that Aemon did indeed believe Daenerys was the prophesized savior of humanity, he swore Sam to secrecy on the topic and left Old Town aboard the Cinnamon Wind, determined to find the Dragon Queen and offer his services as a maester and advisor. Meanwhile, Sam was instructed to finish his training as quickly as possible and return as soon as he could to the Night's Watch. A special thanks to all those who have contributed to Civilization X. You make these videos possible, and I am eternally grateful for your support. If you would like to help Civilization X and want a say in the future content of this channel, click on the Patreon link in the description box below and pledge any amount you'd like on a monthly basis. Or if you would prefer to make a single donation, you can use the PayPal link, also in the description below. And please be sure to like and subscribe and click on the links to see more.